Good afternoon to everyone. Today's guest is Dr. Madhvi. Dr. Madhvi is a professor of philosophy in India. Dr. Madhvi, we're delighted having you here with us today. Dr. Madhvi initially pursued psychology, but ended up studying philosophy, which transformed her perspective and mindset. She has won several competitions so far, which actually encouraged her to start her doctorate. And during her PhD, she also started the Philosophy Treat channel. We're going to be talking about it in the end of our discussion. So her Philosophy Treat channel is to solve real-world problems with philosophical concepts. After earning her PhD, she started teaching philosophy at academic institutions and at the same time focusing on personal development. So, Dr. Madhvi, very happy to have you here with us today.
Hello, that's so nice to meet you, and thank you for so beautiful introduction about me. Very much appreciative for what you said about me.
And today we're going to be talking about your thesis chapter on the mystic philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. And Sri Aurobindo is one of the most influential mystics in India. And his philosophy actually focuses on the concept of mind and the cause of spiritual freedom.
Right.
We know that you've written a very informative and interesting chapter on Sri Aurobindo's analysis of spiritual freedom to free choices. And once we got into it, we discovered very, very enlightening issues, starting from the ideals of the spiritual freedom, which are actually the freedom of the soul and the self-transformation. It seems to me that all this notion of spirituality is a long, long journey, starting from physical, going on to spiritual, and then to a divine transformation. And to start with, is it worth trying to get on such a journey?
Can you please repeat your question? What you just said?
Yeah, is it worth trying for anybody to have such a journey?
Actually, that is a very intellectual journey, because what you're doing is not just for you. You're doing for the entire nation, for the entire universe. So that journey is not only going to help you, but that journey is going to bring that divine energy within all of us. So that is a kind of generous task when you're involving into spirituality, when you're doing such spiritual movement, spiritual journey, like the great ancient philosophers, Sri Aurobindo and other Indian as well as Western philosophers did.
So it's not only beneficial for oneself, for one's individuality, it is also for the progress of humanity.
That's very right. It's for the progress of humanity that we need to undergo such spiritual transformation and facts like spiritual revelations. People say that why revelation, why spirituality? But that is not only our journey, that is the community journey. Everybody is getting involved by this journey. That is channelizing your energy into something new. A new human is getting developed. So that is a very important thing that we should do and everybody should do.
Right. So the soul's manifestation into a spiritual form sometimes is proven to be untrue by scientists who say that I don't see any evidence of any kind of transformation, of any kind of self-transformation. So I won't buy it. But on the other hand, mysticism is a very deep process within oneself. That only the person who actually decides to get involved in this inner transformation understands any kind of changes within. So as a first question, is it easy to grasp the manifestation of the soul into a spiritual form for anybody who gets into this process?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to make a clarification. We know that scientific evidence is not so much about mysticism and this science, but when we see the saints and mystics, and when we look towards their journey, we can see that they have achieved certain aspect of humanity, which is not possible through ordinary life, like immortality, developing your senses to an extreme level. All these things are scientific collected also, because when we have studied the brain of ordinary human and the brain of mystic, it has been found that a mystic brain is highly intelligent. How it is getting developed? It is not easy process. So I'm coming to your first question. It is not an easy process because you need a lot of control, practice, which we call sadhana. You need to get yourself deeply inside all this practice. Not one day, not 2 days, every day. Every day should be your sadhana. Not every day also, but every moment should be your sadhana. That is meditation. And spirituality is not an easy thing. Mystics, what they're doing is not an easy thing, because they have to control their senses. They have to control what they are really feeling, so that they can find the truth. The wisdom is not coming so easily. It is just because of the experiences that they are collecting, that kind of phenomena is taking place.
So, so far, very well so far. We have noticed that there's a certain modus operandi that the practitioners of internal yoga use, starting from the division of the absolute consciousness, which splits into the collective consciousness, and then into the individual consciousness before it becomes a spiritual and divine consciousness. So could you tell us what is the process of transformation in a nutshell?
Process of transformation, first of all, you need to understand your psyche. Psyche in Western term is called as soul. You need to understand your soul, and soul is not a spirit, right? In Indian philosophy, there is different concept of understanding our soul. It's a three-way. First thing is that you need to understand that it is like one thing that could be separated from your body after death. Second thing, it is with you throughout your life and through after your death also. And it is, third thing, it is something that is leading to your transformation. So first thing, when I'm telling that you need to understand your psyche and develop your psyche, that only leads to your total transformation. And development of psyche is not possible through regular education. It is only possible when you're doing meditation, sadhana, practice. All this thing is only leading to you towards this journey. After you have developed your psyche, then only you can reach towards the consciousness, because consciousness is very inner state. It's deep inside us. It's not easy to understand unless and until you have developed your psyche.
It seems to me that this process is similar to Plato's one, who insists on knowing the self knowing our own nature. So it also seems to me that it is quite a difficult process, this knowledge of internal being. And but again, how could we dive into this human's psyche? How could we explore our own soul? I mean, is there a certain methodology that we have to follow? Is there a certain, recipe for an average human being?
Yeah. There is a methodology, complete method in which you can dive into this process. But for very basic understanding, first of all, we need to understand the importance of it. And then you have to collect the aspiration. That is the first method which Aurobindo talks about. That is aspiration. We need to aspire for it. We need to have that mentality that we are going into this path. We have to develop the intention. Unless and until you form the intention, this journey is not possible. Because right now you will say that, yeah, I have to understand spirituality. Second day you will say that, no, this is very tough. I cannot do that. So mind is getting diverted. Every day mind is saying you something else. So that is not a true aspiration. If you have to collect the true aspiration, then you have to form an intention. That is also being given in most of the philosophies like Buddhism, yoga philosophy. They say that first you have to develop the intention that you're moving towards this journey. Then only you can make yourself dive into that path. Otherwise, it is not possible.
Excellent. So we've got aspiration, we've got personal intentions on our agenda. But what's that initial driving force that always helps us achieve the freedom of spirit? Beforehand, you mentioned something about psychic experience. Is it this first experience in the form of maybe a dream or a hallucination that forces us, that drives us into this pursuit, into this pursuit of our dream of becoming a spiritual being?
Yes. You know what? Everybody has dream. But how many of us can remember the dream? Not every one of us. Most of us have hallucinations or some kind of psychic experience. But how many of us pay attention to it? Not many of us. Why? Because we don't have aspiration. Once we have that aspiration, that understanding, then we will go into that aspect. Otherwise, we will say that this is nothing, this is just a myth, right? But once we start understanding that, then only we go deeper into that, and we start analyzing it. We start studying it, comparing it with the others' experiences. That is also important. Because my experience is not totally my experience. It is also others' experience. So when I talk about it, express about it, people will come to me and say that, yeah, I'm also having that kind of experience. So that journey is not only my journey, it's not personal journey, it's universal journey. And for the universal journey, we have to have a universal principle, a universal idea that Sri Aurobindo speaks about. What kind of phenomena you can experience, what kind of things you can have when you're having this kind of psychic experience and you want to transform it. Where you want to transform it? You want to transform it to divinity. That is what Sri Aurobindo talks about. So you have to take your ordinary experiences to an extraordinary experiences. That is all the journey. That is all the spiritual freedom. So that's a very long process, not so easy to talk about in 1 or 2 hours. It takes a lot of practice, actually.
Yeah, sure. We got the main points, and thank you very much for mentioning these basic key principles, universal principles, as you call them. Chris, you may jump in anytime you want by asking Dr. Madhvi any kind of questions regarding Sri Aurobindo's spiritual process and key ideas. There are
I
many,
think the question that's normally arises before any specific analysis of a specific idea or a person or anything like that is, we're in a world where we have a vast number of choices for people who want to explore aspects of their experience of life, whether these are the very material or empirical aspects, whether these are highly intuitive, let's say more difficult to pin down, more elusive ideas, but ones that we all seem to have a shared experience of or understanding of in very general terms. And then what you might call something in between, something like consciousness, something like morality, are things that are universal experiences, universal intuitions and awarenesses that we all have, and something that seems to unite us, but that fall somewhere in between or beyond either the purely empirical or the purely spiritual, let's say, in terms of perhaps either religious teachings or metaphysical ideas. So for most people, I suppose, unless they are already within a very specific culture or have a very specific tradition that is their pathway into a way of exploring these things, the challenge for everyone is where to start. Why choose Buddhism instead of Hinduism? Well, should I choose my own meditation and find one of the many courses on mindfulness and meditation from the internet? Of course, there are many mystics and visionaries and teachers to choose from, not just people who are alive, but all of the thousands or hundreds of thousands who've come before. It could be an accident of history that some people do not refer to Jesus as a mystic. I imagine that the people in his day would have called him a mystic, wouldn't have hesitated to describe him in that way. So the challenge, I suppose, for anyone who feels that a particular path is really worthwhile and really the best and really the most helpful and the most appropriate, or even that it is helpful and appropriate and good for people, is to tell us how we come to that path in the world when there are so many to choose from. You know, what is it that takes us to one person rather than another? What is the reason? What are the things that distinguish or make a particular mystic or a particular spiritual path really worth considering above others, let's say?
Yes. That's a very deep question, actually. First thing, from where to start? From where to start, if you need to understand, you need to find yourself. You need to figure it out. What is your problem? What are your challenges? That is the suffering. So in Buddhism, Gautam Buddha has the vision of sufferings all over the world, all around him. And through this path of suffering, through the analysis of suffering only, he went on towards that search, and he found that Four Noble Truths, Four Noble Paths. So he saw the sufferings outside, and then he started finding the answer inside him. And then he got the answer. And that is spread to us, to the universe. So if we want to understand from where we actually have to start it, we have to look inside us. And the second thing, if we are not sure which courses to choose, where to find the answers, where to find the practice, right? Then try to look for the easiest option and the safest option. Because many things are available around the globe. But if you're not really trusting that, then you cannot go for it. So you have to have that trust with the process. Trusting the process is very important rather than achieving your goals. If you trust the process, then the path becomes easier. And if the path becomes easier, then you can obviously reach your goals.
Excellent.
So that answers your question.
An excellent approach. Yeah, it's definitely very as if you follow your instincts somehow and trust yourself as long as you proceed. But again, some obstacles arise. There are imposed laws, some beliefs. People say you have to follow some rules and regulations. You can't easily escape from this chain of system. And there are these barriers you have to cross. And then humans, we should also remember that humans are slaves to their emotions, their thoughts, conditions. And you have to get from a slave to a master, and also barriers in the process of this free development of spirit, such as unwillingness to change. Sometimes you don't accept something new. You're very greedy or very hostile to your human beings, to your colleagues. I mean, all these personality traits prevent us from becoming a better version of ourselves. So, how, according to you, how could we overcome these limitations of society, personality, laws, and orthodox beliefs, all that stuff that seems to pile up, as high as it gets?
Yes, your question only gives the answer to this approach. You said that there is unwillingness. When there is unwillingness, there would be an acceptance. So if you are willing to move towards this journey, then only there would be the acceptance, and then only there would be the trust. So first of all, you have to change that unwillingness. First of all, you have to guide yourself that if you need to follow that path, if you need to have that journey, then you have to be willing. You have to form that willingness towards that journey. And according to me, if you want to get rid of this all senses manipulations, then you need to figure it out by yourself. Suppose I am not good in studies, for example, and I find it very challenging to do my studies. So I need to figure it out that how I can score a good marks in my exam. Nobody is going to tell me that. I need to figure it out. Where is the problem, right? Same is true with this journey. If I'm facing the problem in meditation, then I need to figure it out, why I'm facing the problem, how I can deal with that problem. One and one, if I keep on solving the problem, then I can reach towards a bigger problem, because you cannot solve the big problem in one shot. You have to divide it into smaller parts, and you have to deal with smaller problems one by one. And then only you can reach towards a bigger problem. If I say that I have a big suffering in my life, yeah, I cannot move towards it. Is that true or not?
Yeah, that's a very clever tactic. Yeah, sure. And it works in most cases. I would agree with you. Please, if you have anything to comment on it.
I think it's very interesting to hear different approaches always, and it's very useful. I just had a follow-up to the other question, actually, which is when we're looking around the world for sources of useful information, positive resources, teachers or guidance, we have come to find sometimes that there are some very good ideas, and the people who have those ideas, who are associated with those ideas, perhaps do not always live up to those ideas or ideals themselves. And this there is always a tension as to whether this means that the ideas are not so good, and this is obviously one of these challenges between many philosophical movements and even, let's say, the authority of scientists or politicians or so on, and figures like Jesus or Muhammad or other divine figures or divinely inspired figures who are at least intended to be presented as perfect in some way. Even if they are human or partly human, there is some element of the perfection of the divine, which means that their lives and their actions and their words are somehow perfected. Is it possible to separate the teachings of mystics from the traditions around the world, many of which are very popular and very interesting and often share features in common with each other, from the person, the personality or the human being who gives his name to a particular set of teachings or guidances? Is it ever the case that someone can become a very influential mystical teacher and achieve many great things and offer very useful and powerful advice, but actually perhaps fail themselves and fall short of their own teachings? Or do we expect our mystics to be perfect, to be beyond reproach, to live the kind of examined life that only the most divinely inspired can live? That's my question.
Okay. So as you talked about the process first, that is there the process that could separate ourselves from the processes of the mystics, right? So I would just share with you the process of mystic Sri Aurobindo, because we are talking about him, his idea. We want to spread his idea towards the world, his spirituality, his vision towards everyone. So we need to understand basically his idea, because he was not into any religious movement. His practice was not connected to any ideology. Even he would used to say that if you're not accepting my ideology, don't practice it. Just see what you are good into and do whatever you feel, but go into that divinity, follow that path, because that is only your true factor which will help you to figure it out, that how you came to this world, what is your purpose, what is your ultimate destiny. That is the divine aspiration that he was talking about. So he has given a very beautiful process to move ourselves into that divine movement. So the first path that I already shared with you is aspiration. That is the willingness to accept this idea and move towards this journey. Because when you are not true to yourself, you cannot be true to the world. So you need to form that willingness that, yeah, I am going to practice this, not for myself but for others also, because that is a very purposeful journey. That is not any journey, any ordinary journey. That is a very extraordinary thing that I'm doing. Second thing is rejection. You need to reject certain aspect of your life. For example, the materialistic pursuit that you are getting into, the luxurious, all these things the body needs, the mind doesn't need. When you get deeper into it, you will understand the difference between what our physical body needs and what our mind and mentality needs. And then you will start rejecting the ideas which is not required for your psyche, right? Like you will start controlling your senses, because you know that this is all the Maya. Maya, that means illusion. Right? You will understand that this is illusion. If I am having a very big dream, like I want a very luxurious life, fancy cars, fancy journey, then this is something which is not meeting my purpose. So I have to reject all the ideas which is not taking me towards the purpose. So once you reject all the outside ideas, you can get deeper inside yourself. And the third thing is very important thing in the spirituality, in the practice of mysticism, in the practice of all the religious aspect also, and that is true to every religion, even to Christianity, Hinduism, and all the religions of the world. And the third, the most important thing is surrender. Surrender yourself to divine. Make yourself know that you are not bigger than the vision, the larger vision, right? So that surrender, that surrendering of your will to the divine will can only make you fulfilled for that purpose, the divine purpose. You know, most people will say that I'm not getting that intuition. Why you're not getting that intuition? Because you have not surrendered yourself to that divine aspect. Once you have surrendered your ego, then only you can get that divine revelation or the divine ideas. That is what Sri Aurobindo talks about. That is not my idea, that is Sri Aurobindo idea. Like how he wants everyone to deal with this concept of mystics and spirituality. So that is a process. That is the process.
And this act of surrendering actually asks for some prerequisites, because I have personally searched Sri Aurobindo's analysis of spiritual freedom, and some prerequisites, presuppositions came to my attention, like a form without a content, this feeling of morality, this cause in itself phenomenon. I mean, all these three elements, form without content. Is it like a tabula rasa that we have to accept everything from scratch and get ready for the unexpected? This is first question. And then morality. Where does morality come in? Do you have to be a moral self so that you can go through the whole process of spiritual transformation yourself? And then a cause in itself phenomenon. Does this actually mean that you have to clear the blockage of any kind of personal restrictions that come on your way as you climb up the spiritual ladder, so that you can actually feel your true inner freedom? I mean, these three elements seem to me very challenging, but also very necessary for anybody is willing to go through such a process.
That's a very good idea, because the world is now talking about nothingness. Why you are looking for nothingness when you have everything around you? That is a major question. But this nothingness is the only science, because every ideas are coming from this nothingness. Everything is coming from the zero. That is the main thing that we need to dive into. Even the world say that ex nihilo nihili. What does it mean? That means everything is coming from nothingness, right? And the second thing that you are talking about, this imbibed morality, the morality. This idea, from where it is coming? Is it coming from the outside forces, or it is getting cultivated from inside? Both the ideas are true. Both the ideas are true. You have the ethical practices, you have the teachings. It is not waste. It is making yourself deeper into that process. Because from this very young age, we are taught that you have to follow this habit. You have to go to your elders. You have to speak nicely. This habit is becoming our practice. And once it is becoming our practice, it is becoming our character. It is building us. So that external thing is not wrong. That is making us who we really are. And the second thing is inside us. Sometimes it happens in our life that nobody guides us. Many times. Nobody's the guide, teacher.
It's a two-way communication.
You look for the outside teacher, but when you don't find the outside teacher, you become very nervous that now who will guide me? Who will teach me all these ideas? Then you have to look for the inner guide. And then you have to find the intuition within you. That intuitive force is within every one of us. And you have to cultivate that intuitive force so that you will have the inner idea, you will have the imbibed morality. Like, this is right, this is wrong. People will say in today's life, like, leaders are there, many leaders are there. But followers, sometimes they will follow their leaders blindly. And then leaders will then divert their attention towards their own purpose. They will use them. There, one has to cultivate the inner guide. There, one has to choose the actual leader. There, one has to understand that, is this the right thing that I'm doing? There, one have to question. Or there is something else that I could do, right? So if you're not finding a solace in outside leadership, external leaders, then you can cultivate your inner guide. That is the transformation mysticism are talking about today. That look for the inner guide. Why you are looking for the outside forces, outside teachers, when the teacher is within you? So Socrates says that unexamined life is not worth living. So examine yourself, start exploring yourself, start exploring your ideas, make it worthy for every one of us, right? So that is, I think that both journey is true, external also, internal also. But if external is misguiding you, you need to find out your own guide. You need to find your own teacher that is inside you.
Is this similar to the process of descent and ascent? I mean, this is a very interesting approach of two forces trying to meet each other, and as if somebody wants to make a start, an individual, let's say an average human being, and then he prays to, let's say, a spiritual, to a supreme, to the supreme being, the divine being, and then the divine being gives the individual a helping hand from above. Is this the way the process of descent and ascent work? And where exactly, when does the mind intervene? We know that the mind is actually a reflection of the truth and is used as an instrument in this process of ascent and descent, so that consciousness transformation begins.
Ascent and descent are the processes that Sri Aurobindo talks about when you have to understand the journey of evolution and involution. So Sri Aurobindo just said that we don't just have the evolution, but we also have the involution. Like we talked about the nothingness. So we are starting from something, we are starting from the zero, but it is not just that we are starting from the zero. It is also one bigger forces that was working towards this entire concept, and that is the divine forces. So all this thing is not coming just from the zero. There was the highest forces also. So these two things that you talked about, the ascent and the descent. Ascent means self-mastery. Like you are practicing all these things. You are examining the processes and you are climbing the stairs towards the divine. That means the psyche development that I was talking about, the complete awareness of the individuality. Once you form the complete awareness of the individual, of your aspect, of the forces that is working with you, then only the descent will work. Descent means divine intervention.
So you have to make, I'm sorry for interrupting. So
yes,
an average human being has to make the first step before there is a divine intervention.
Exactly. First of all, we have to change our rational mind. Our mind is very limited. We have made limited. We can explore the ideas. We can get deeper into the ideas, but are we doing that? No, we are not doing that. First thing is we have to make ourselves aware. Maximum awareness one has to reach. And that is what mystics are doing. They are practicing for that reason only, because they have to maximize their awareness. So once they have attained that path, then only the divine intervention takes place. And in the words of a universal word, it is called as revelation. So, Jesus Christ has revelation. And other important mystics also have revelation. Sri Aurobindo has revelation. So this is called divine intervention. When you have the revelation, can you say that revelation is not true? We cannot say that, because of that only all the religions are developed. So we cannot say that. So divine intervention takes place once you have attained that psychic transformation. The ascent process is completed, then only the descent process could start. So for Sri Aurobindo, it is that we all have to start this journey for the psychic transformation. And therefore, he has given beautiful processes. For example, you know that matter has transformed towards life. It was a very small matter, like in Samkhya philosophy, we call it Prakriti. Prakriti and Purusha. Purusha, that means consciousness. Prakriti means nature. When they combine together, then only the evolution takes place. Then only the entire journey of life takes place. From where the life is coming. Life is coming from the matter. Matter is transforming into the life. Life is getting transforming into the consciousness. And the consciousness is getting transforming into divine. It's very long process. We cannot just divide into 5 to 6 steps, because it is a very long journey that we are doing. So this ascent and descent is also very long practice. So first, cultivation of your psyche is important. Awareness of psyche is important, and then only you can reach towards the process of descent. That is the divine revelation.
And
Transformation.
the big question of many people is, there is a certain communication between the average people and the divine, the supreme being, the divine being. But to what extent is there? To what extent do both sides reach some sort of understanding? And that's the hard part. And we know that once someone reaches a certain spiritual level, this is not the end of the journey. You still have to go a long way until your spirituality merges into these cosmic elements, into this universality. What are your comments on it?
That is journey forever. You cannot say that I have attended the path. Because if you are saying that, then you are wrong. You are not true to yourself. Because even after reaching that divine revelation, mystics will practice it. Mystics will share this towards the world. Like Gautam Buddha, he got that enlightenment. Still, he came back to us, and he started spreading the knowledge to us. To his followers, he moved all across the world. He transferred this knowledge, and that is why this religion got developed, and so many people are practicing it, trying to get that knowledge, that evidence of it, right? So if we are saying that after following this step, we will attain the liberation, attain the moksha, it is very untrue. It is disloyalty, if I will say in a good word, because it is just that you are fooling yourself, right? But if you want to actually attend that journey, you have to be continuous in it, consistent in it.
Non-stop.
Then you will find that something is happening, and nobody is going to tell that you are getting developed. You will experience it yourself, that some forces are activating, some forces are working, that we call intuition. Intuitive forces are working now. You will say that I am getting the vision of the future. Of course, that is very deep thing. Just for the example, I am saying that you will say that, yeah, I'm getting the dream, I'm getting the vision. But once again, you have to practice it and start understanding that what is this dream is all about, what is this intuition is all about. Just getting the intuition doesn't mean that you have got the revelation, because Sri Aurobindo has said that this path is very big, because you have to transform your mind. From the ordinary mind, you have to lead towards the super mind. And once you move towards that journey of super mind, you will understand that how big is this entire process. So yes, that journey is actually very advanced. And we, at this stage, even speaking about that makes me nervous, because this journey is what is get developed when you practice it actually. Seriously, I'm not a practitioner. I'm just a learner. So even if I'm wrong, I will accept it that I'm wrong, because I know that I'm learning all this process. So I can be wrong. I have to relearn. I have to get into the process in a deeper way, and I have to find the right path. So this is all is learning that we are doing. This is all the true evolution that we are going into.
Right. And at this point, I'd like to refer to to the free thoughts and enlightenment, which for Sri Aurobindo applies to self-discovery, in contrast to other philosophers like Kant, for example, who use these free thoughts to help an individual mature in the public sphere of life. I mean, and this is very interesting in the sense that they both use their free thoughts as a first step towards maturity. And I also like to refer to Sri Aurobindo's to one of the Sri Aurobindo's quotes, which says, "It is only by an inner growth, movement, action that the individual can freely and effectively universalize and transcendentalize his being." I mean, freedom of be it a physical or an existential, both kinds of freedoms lead to the freedom of humanity. Actually, is this the supreme goal of Sri Aurobindo's concept?
Supreme goal. Supreme goal, I won't say, because as I mentioned earlier, this journey was towards the divine aspect. That from the ordinary, we are moving to the extraordinary. From the rational mind, we are moving towards the mystic mind. But is the mystic mind the final destiny? No, that is not the final destiny. Because after that, you have to move towards a supramental stage. And after that, there could be something which is not yet discovered. So as Sri Aurobindo says that it is not something that is unknown, but the idea that has not yet been known. So if some force is not there, some understanding is not there, that means you have not explored it. You cannot say that this is not there. You just need to explore that idea to really find it out. Like when I'm moving towards Galileo, Galileo said something about our planets, which we all believe to be untrue. And religion, traditions, all rejected his idea. But few centuries later, we are accepting his ideas. Why? Because we have realized the truth. We have realized that what he was saying about the planets, about the motion, that was true. Right? So this thing is something which is explorative. We need to be into this explorative path. We need to find out where it is actually taking us. Because truth, if we have to find out the truth, it cannot be explored in one or two ideas. It needs a consistent effort, self-effort, as well as the world effort. Does that answer your question, or there is something different approach that you are asking me?
Yeah, you definitely answered our question. Yes, the very best way. Yeah, sure. Chris, would you like to jump in?
Only that I'm doing some background reading while I'm listening to your interesting conversation, and I see here that Sri Aurobindo actually spoke Greek and learned Greek as well as studying in England and other places, and had a very international perspective, and apparently has mentioned a number of classical Greek and other Western philosophers as thinkers who he was interested in. And I think, as you'd probably expect, he is more inclined to, he is less in line with people like Kant or Hegel, the very technical and let's say analytical traditionalists, and but seems to have an admiration for Heraclitus and Nietzsche, which are two of my favorites as well. So I'm pleased to hear that. This is always good news.
Yes, that is very true, because Sri Aurobindo has most of his studies in Western world. So he got his education in West. So he was very much inspired by philosophers like Bergson, Whitehead, Kant. All these things all these philosophers has revolutionized his ideas. So he has not only the ideas of the Indian philosophy, the Upanishad, the great Vedas, all these things, but he also has the Western ideas. Both these ideas has molded and helped him to develop his idea, because he was one of the philosophers who has taken both this world together, Eastern as well as Western. He tried to put this thing together, find out the common things in both this world, and try to formulate his own idea that how our sufferings could be removed, how our challenges could be shortened by delving into some ideas, delving into some concepts that can make our life easy. Because that phase was in Sri Aurobindo phase, that was about freedom. India was struggling for freedom. There, people needed some philosophy which will give them relief, which will give them, an understanding about all the situation. So there, his idea was a revolutionary idea, because he has taken the Western concept also, he has taken the Indian concept also, ancient Indian concept also. He merged all together, and he tried to produce the ideas which is very conceptual and could be practiced. So it is not just the theoretical, it is conceptual also, it is practicable also. Right? So this journey of Sri Aurobindo into the freedom movement, like if you study about him, he was into politics. He was trying to find out how to deal with the politics, how to find out, the answers to the freedom movement. And then he was captured in the Alipore jail. From there, his journey started, because he started meditating. He started making self-awareness and all these practices. So he got the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Even he got the vision of Swami Vivekananda. He got the vision which guides him, that you need to work for the higher force. You need to cultivate the divinity, the spirituality, and you need to give this gift to every one of us. And then he went to Pondicherry. He started practicing the philosophies, the ancient philosophy. He started meditating a lot. And when you read him, when you read his work, you will not find it very easy, because when he is writing, he is completely in the different world. Right? So when we have to read it, we have to actually do meditation. So I was doing my thesis, and it was not so easy for me to understand the concept. So for every quote, I was actually meditating that what he is saying, what is he mean to say, and how he can help us to transform our vision. So for everything, I was actually doing meditation to get into that journey of understanding. So that was not easy. So about Sri Aurobindo, I will just say that he is a true mistake, because what he is giving to us, he has given to us, can revolutionize this world, can totally transform our vision towards the spirituality that we are looking for, because not me, not you, everyone is looking for the spirituality. Eastern world, Western world, we all are looking for something which can help us to deal with the suffering. So if we start reading his ideas, you will find that it is helping us, it is curing us. That is called the self-transformation.
Exactly. I mean, we couldn't agree more with you. And taking into account the fact that there are some layers of mind, starting from the supermind, overmind, and then human mind in a broad sense. Only when you have this supermind can you actually disentitle yourself from any hostilities, from any discriminations against cults, cultures, religions that divide human beings. I mean, you have to have this supermind so that you accept all different religions under one and the same umbrella. And then you realize that you have all experiences at the same time, and that you can heal all the antagonisms of cults and religions. So there is a grand reconciliation in the supermind of yours, and you're freed from all the visions, and that's very optimistic. The fact that eventually we come to the conclusion that there is hope for humanity through these spirituality and divination that you're talking about. I mean, nothing is impossible, and the plane where all things could be reconciled is through this divination, through this transformation of the self. But you only have to reach that level of spirituality. I mean, it's tough. We all know it, but there is hope. And even though you can't reach that high, you can trust these mystics. You can trust these spiritual teachers that have already reconciled themselves with the multiplicity of the world, and let them teach you. Let us hear them. Let us listen to what they have to say. Because as many academics claim, if you're short of this supermind, which, if I'm not mistaken, belongs to the eternal manifestation of Satchidananda, if you don't have this, you have nothing. You just experience the divine, but you're not able to reconcile with the multiplicities, the world.
Actually, yes, you have in your entire words, you have given me the glimpse of 2-3 major concepts. You have talked about the concept of mind. You have talked about the super mind, and you have talked about the Satchidananda. So starting from the mind, we all know that what is our mind? Mind is our awareness. When you develop your awareness, when you develop your mind, you lead towards the other mind, that is called the higher mind. So Sri Aurobindo has given this concept of mind, which is starting from very ordinary, basic mind, human mind, basic human mind. Lower than that is also minds, animal mind, plant mind, right? So above that, that is ordinary, above this ordinary human mind, there is the higher mind, which we can say that the mind of the academics or the mind of the visionary, the leaders, they have the higher mind. Above that, there is the overmind that we have the data in a larger aspect, right? Above that, there is illumined mind. That means one's mind which has get an intuitive idea, the revolutionary idea. That means it is not just the information that I'm collecting from the book, but the information that is intuitively coming to me. Above the intuitive mind, there is also the illumined mind, intuitive mind, and then comes the super mind. So super mind, it is not the starting from the super mind. It is from the ordinary mind we are going towards the super mind. So once you have that super mind level, your entire concept of the world will change. The things like jealousy, anger, hatred, all the emotional feedbacks that you have, it all will disappear. So once you have that super mind level, you cannot go back towards the immorality that you talked about previously, because you have that morality coming from you. So
Exactly.
mind to super mind, that is a journey. And once you reach that journey, that is not easy, then you have the vision of Satchidananda. Satchidananda, if I just divide it into 3 parts, that is Sat, Chit, and Anand. Sat means truth.
Truth.
Chit means consciousness. And Anand means bliss, happiness. So once you cross this journey, then you have the feeling of this 3 things. That is truth, consciousness, and bliss. That is
Bliss.
happiness.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
a purpose, higher purpose.
the experience of the ultimate unchanging reality, in other words.
Yes, that is leading towards the realities, unchanging realities. That is the reality that you are looking for in a higher aspect, the truer
Yeah.
aspect.
I mean, there's no reason why not trust these highly respectable spiritual leaders like Sri Aurobindo. There's no reason why not believe them. That's the only hope for our humanity. And it's high time we stopped hostilities. It's high time we ended all the wars that are going on till now. So there is hope for humanity. We would like to hope for the best. Before coming to an end, I would like to ask some questions on behalf of Dr. Daniel Del Monte, who sends his kind regrets. He asks, what are your plans for this exciting website of yours called Philotreat? And you also have a WhatsApp group. And it's quite inspiring, the fact that you're breaking down this prejudice that philosophy should only belong to a few specialists in academic environments. And now you're opening up this domain of philosophy, kind of raising more and more fans and people. So what are your plans for these initiatives of yours, great initiatives of yours?
Philotreat is coming with the idea of combining philosophy to our own life. How we can use philosophy for our personal development, personal growth. Philosophy is very vast. But what is the use of philosophy? Is it just for the intellectual satisfaction? Or is it more than that? That is what philosophy and Philotreat is going to discover. The most important philosophical ideas, you know that about the Stoic philosophy, Socrates dialogue, then psychic transformation. Just now we heard of Sri Aurobindo. What is the use of all these things? How we can use this for our practical life, for our personal development, personal transformation. That is what Philotreat is going to do. So bigger ideas, it is going to compile it in a relatable idea, the practicable idea that we can easily implement in our life, from the student to academics to philosophers, everybody needs personal development. It's just not about the communication that personal development talks about. It's also about the transformation. It's also about the changing of vision and the cultivation of leadership. So PhiloTreat is engaged in the activity where we are not only talking about philosophy, but we are going to make it applicable for everyone. Because most of my people will say around me that we cannot understand philosophy. It is very hard to understand. And why to study philosophy? All this could be answered when you start using the important philosophical inventions, dialogues, the discoveries to your own life. You start relating these ideas to yourself and you start transforming yourself into the higher being. Like we just talked about Aurobindo, how he has used the philosophical ideas, his mission was to transform the rational mind to the mystic mind. And not same, but relatable, our mission is also to transform the world towards a philosophy, like the vision that can imbibe this philosophical ideas into our own personal development, personal journey and transformation, self-discovery, self-motivation, and self-healing. That is most important. That means PhiloTreat, that means the tagline is treat thyself. How you can treat yourself? Is there any way? Yes, there is a way. And that we are doing research on it. Lots of research is going on that how we can use that ideas and make it practicable to be used in our own world. So that is what website is all about. So please do visit that website. You will find lots of ideas there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yes.
And another question, if I may, we noticed you posted recently about a poem by a man named, if I pronounce it correctly, Rabindranath Tagore. We were struck, and Dr. Del Monte as well, by the beauty and power of this poem entitled Freedom. Could you explain how you see this world as a kind of puppets show, demonstrating the mimicry of life, as the poem says? And how could we somehow liberate ourselves from the brainless wires controlling us like marionettes, like puppets?
First of all, let's just talk about Guru Rabindranath Tagore, because he's a very great literature poet, and like philosopher also, because his idea has changed the world, the perspective of us. So he's into literature, but he's also into philosophy. He's also into art, because his poem, his writing is not just about it's not just about like what we see around, but it is also about what we don't see around. Right? So Rabindranath Tagore, his work, he was also during the contemporary time of Sri Aurobindo. So his work was also related to the freedom, that how we can work together to free our nation, free our mindset, imprisoned mindset, because it was a very long days of slavery. So despite physical freedom also, can we get the intellectual freedom? Can we get freedom from our mental aspect, the mental troubles and mental ties? Yes, we can do that. So he was writing for the nation, how he can free the world. So we are all become the puppets of the world. That means we are tied up towards with someone else. Like our mentality, our mindsets are working not with our own mind, but with some other mind. Someone else is using us for their purpose, and that is called the puppets. So if we are being used, we should be very watchful how we are getting used and who is using us. So that is a kind of development of your mindset. That is what freedom Guru Rabindranath Tagore is talking about. Freedom from your fear of mind, freedom for your jealousy, freedom from your thoughts that are not helpful to you. So you can also read Guru Rabindranath Tagore. His poem is very much, very deep. When you read one by one, you will just experience that intellectual ecstasy. You don't have to go anywhere to experience that. You can feel that state when you start reading the poem of even Sri Aurobindo. He write poem. He wrote Savitri. That is a very good poem. I will just mention one of the quotes from it, which is mentioned in the Upanishad, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Upanishad, that means okay. So not just delve into that. I will just mention the quote to wind up all these things, right? So he in this poem Savitri, he talked about that quote. That is, I will just quote it in Sanskrit. It is. I will translate it for you in English. Okay. So yeah, it is Asto ma sadagamaya, tamso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Asto ma sadagamaya, that means let me take from unreal state to the real state. Let me take towards the truth. Give me the power that I can feel the truth. Take me towards the truth. It is a prayer. Tamso ma jyoti gamaya. Tamso ma jyoti gamaya, that means take me from darkness towards the light. My life is very dark. I can not find the peace here. So take me towards the light. Third thing is Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya. That means take me from death towards immortality. That is very deep, of course, but that means that to give me that sense of the eternality, the eternal mindset. So this is a very wonderful quote from Upanishad, which Sri Aurobindo has mentioned in his poem Savitri. So when you read Savitri, it is very complex poem. But once you start going to one line by line, you will feel the entire universe is speaking to you. You will feel that super connection. So it's very complex, actually. Yeah.
I mean, these are all very helpful insights, and your precious comments have really helped us get deeper and deeper into Sri Aurobindo's spiritual freedom to free choices. I mean, these are all very insightful comments of yours, and I personally think that we helped our audience a lot today by bringing all these elements to surface. And we hope to have another conversation with you in the near future regarding your article on religious philosophy and praxis, which has also to do with studies of mystical experiences, an opportunity or challenge. Be very happy to discuss with you again when time comes. And thank you very, very much for today's interview.
Thank you so much for this opportunity that you have gave me to talk to you, to discover the ideas more and to get deeper into this. I just really love the way you were asking me so brilliant questions that even strike my own intellectual insight, that how I can put it in a concept that is useful for everyone who is listening and can help them to get deeper inside them. So that was a very good thing that I learned here. Asking question is a very challenging thing, and that I must appreciate you, the way you were asking the questions. It really helped me to get the most suitable answer for the listeners. So I'm very thankful for you both that you have given me this moment to express myself about my thesis work, about my journey, about the philosophy to take towards the other world. So that is very precious for me. And I would always remember this moment. Thank you for all this thing.
Yeah, we also appreciate it very much. And we hope to see you in the near future, as I said. And you could also bring along any other colleagues of yours that you like to have a holistic discussion on very, very interesting and precious topics.
Yes, thank you so much for it. Even lots of people are there who want to get connected to this platform because I said that this is getting diversified. We are taking from the Western world. Western world is taking from the Indian world, Eastern world. So both the worlds are sharing the knowledge, exchanging the ideas, exchanging the stories. And that is developing ourselves, that is bringing that evolution, that is bringing ourselves towards that movement. So that is a very good thing that you are doing. I truly support your vision. It's a very big vision of collecting the ideas, merging it together, bringing it in a suitable way for the others, because people don't understand the ideas unless somebody talk about it. And that is what you are doing it. You're talking about it, and that is a great thing that I must say, appreciate you for it, and really will tell people that this work is going on, so pay attention to it also. So, yeah.
And we also support your initiative called Philotreat, and we're also spreading the word.
Thank you so much for this thing. I truly enjoy this moment with both of you. Very good philosopher you both are, because you have that inquiry within you, that you want to inquire something, delve deeper into it. That is a very true sign of a good philosopher. Just not accepting the thing, but having a good inquiry, a good mission to bring the change. So that's what I really love about this platform, and I truly enjoyed being with both of you. It truly brought me the joy of being what I am and sharing my ideas with you all. Yeah.
We appreciate it very much. We hope for the best for you as well. And until the next time, stay healthy, stay well, and hope to see you in next meeting.